Good morning, it's Jessica with Beta Virtual Assistants, and I'm here because it's Saturday, and on Saturday we like to talk about investing in crypto and what can you do to be a successful investor, to find money for it. So I thought I would talk a little bit about that today. Also, there's been a development this week on the central bank digital currency in the USA, which I think is pretty exciting, so I thought I would share that with you. So let's dive right in. As usual, I have no idea how to share my screen, but I did copy down links to two stories about this week, and I have one of the stories ready to read. So, central bank digital currency, if you don't know it, is this thing that they've been trying to design that the Federal Reserve would be in charge of so that they would control our money. And a lot of people in the crypto space, including me, don't think this is a good idea because they could use it to control everybody and it would not be nice. So, we have not wanted them to develop this central bank digital currency, and it looks like they have taken action this week. In the House Financial Services Committee, they have passed the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act, which is completely aimed at preventing the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency. And this article here, which I should pop in the comments just in case you want to see it, says it's aimed at preventing unelected bureaucrats in Washington from issuing a central bank digital currency. It's taken one step further on its procedural journey after it passed the House Financial Services Committee. According to a press release distributed by the bill's author, Representative Tom Emmer, on September 20th, the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act was passed out of the committee and favorably reported to the House floor. This means the bill will next face a congressional vote. It's already gained the support of 60 members of Congress, and I read in a second article, they're trying to get support for it from Republicans and Democrats at the moment. What he said about it was that we want American values. This is what the future global digital economy needs. If it's not open, permissionless, and private, just like cash, a central bank digital currency is nothing more than a Chinese Communist Party style surveillance tool that can be weaponized to oppress the American way of life. He's got 49 co-sponsors, and it was first formally introduced to Congress in February of 2023. It contains provisions that would prevent the Federal Reserve from issuing a CBDC to individuals, and it would bar the Fed from utilizing any CBDC for the purpose of implementing monetary policy. This means, according to the other article I read, that the committee was divided along partisan lines over legislation seeking to rein in the Fed's ability to issue a CBDC, with Republicans supporting the measure and Democrats opposed. Ultimately, the committee passed a bill that would prohibit the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency or offering products or services directly to an individual. Furthermore, the bill establishes that a CBDC can only be authorized by Congress. I think this is incredible news because if it gets passed, it really terrifies me to think about a world where they are issuing CBDCs, and then, of course, if there were no need for cash, then cash would go away, and then people who actually appreciate using cash. I use a credit card to do most of my transactions just because it's convenient, and I do a lot of online shopping or whatever, and it's easier than carrying cash, but I still like having cash. I definitely like it when my students pay me in cash because then I don't have to pay processing fees to the processors. So I get the full amount of value. I like supporting some local businesses that give you a cash discount because, again, they don't want to pay the processing fees either. And having that option is just such a good thing. Like, why would we want the government able to spy on all of our activities? So I'm super excited about this, that there is a possibility that they are doing something right in government. That's just thrilling to me. So that's that. Okay, in the meantime, the other thing I thought I'd talk about today is, crypto investing is great, but what do you do when you don't have any money for crypto investing? And one of the things that we do around here when we don't have any money is we create courses. And there's a friend of mine, a hero of mine, who is actually running a 5-day course challenge this week. The fast, free, proven way to make sure your online course idea is profitable before you create it. So she runs this every year in preparation for her big course release. She has this course where she teaches you how to make a digital online course that's really effective, not just effective in teaching what you want to teach your people, but also effective in getting your people to take action. Because it's one thing to get somebody to buy your course. It's a completely different thing to get them to actually consume it and use it and put it into action so that their life improves. And why else would we be doing something if we don't want somebody's life to improve? So every year in October, she runs this big promotional thing, and she starts off with this challenge. And of course, guess what? We have a link to the challenge. So if creating a course is on your bucket list, or you have a business, or you have done creating courses in the past or whatever, definitely worth checking out. I love everything she does. I usually go spy on her stuff, even though I've purchased her course and I've gone through it twice and I have already done that thing. I still kind of keep an eye on what she's doing. And the other thing about her courses is that her husband actually developed this gamified course platform, which we love here. We actually use it for all of our courses. And what it does is just puts a few extra bells and whistles into the program that give you hits of dopamine, so that encourages the students to actually participate and to actually progress through the course instead of just signing up for something and not ever taking action. So the biggest thing is that when you want to get the word out there that you have products or services to offer, one of the ways you can do that is by creating what they call a lead magnet. And a lead magnet is something that a lot of people do, just like a PDF or a book or a report or something like that. The problem with PDFs and book reports is like people are like reading their email and they're like, oh yeah, okay, that sounds intriguing. And they download it and they sign up for your thing. They download the PDF report, and then chances are really good they get distracted and they don't ever open it. They don't ever read it. And then they don't ever find out what you're offering, what you're really offering, because the lead magnet is the tool to get them interested in what you're offering and not the actual thing that you're offering, right? So lead magnets are great, but they never ever, I can tell you from personal experience, I have probably thousands of lead magnets on my computer that I will probably never read. That sounded really interesting and that I really was interested in at that moment in time, but there's so much noise that comes through. So what's fun about Murray's Experientify platform is he also now has a course talking about how you can create a little mini course for your lead magnet that is gamified enough that it will encourage people to take action. And once they take the first step, it will encourage them to keep taking action. And of course, the goal is to have it a small little taste, not anything big, so they can consume it very quickly. And that means that they get to the end and they see, oh, I learned something, hopefully. I learned something from you, and oh, I do have this problem, and oh, maybe I do want to take further action. So it seems like it could be a much more effective way of reaching people. In fact, one of the reasons I'm talking about this is because the link that we have in the comments all the time now is for our Crypto Tax Matrix course, which is exactly designed like this. It is a little tiny course that talks about when do you need a professional to help you with your crypto taxes and when you don't. And the whole point of it, it's super tiny, compact. All you want to know is, do I need help or don't I? And part of that is knowing, do I need to report taxes or can I skip it for another year or two? And so taking care of those two questions in this little tiny course helps people who find it realize, oh yes, I do need help. And then, oh, hey, we offer services. Hey, cool, come talk to us. We'd love to talk to you about your situation and to further explore if you really need help, like, or if you just need like a little bit of help, because we have all different levels of help in our services. We've got you can do it yourself. You can follow our course and get the software that we provide as part of the course and go through it that way and just figure it out on your own. And when you get stuck, you come to the Q&A calls and you get all your questions answered. Or we've got the like, I don't want to touch it, I don't understand what I was doing, please do it for me. We've got the done for you services. Either way, as long as people are aware of the problem, first, like, there's all these gurus out there who teach you how to run a business, and they all say, you know, there's 4 types of people, I think. And the first person doesn't know they have a problem and doesn't know you exist, so they're probably not going to come buy anything from you. And the second person knows they have a problem, but they don't know you exist. And then the third person knows that they have a problem and knows you exist. That's your ideal person. And then I think there's another one that's like they know they have a problem. I forget what the fourth one is. Anyways, the point being that if you're going to reach customers, you definitely want that sort of thing happening, that you are reaching out to them and giving them ways to get to know you so that if and or when they need your help, they know where to find you. And that is our whole goal with our course, which is in the links, Crypto Tax Matrix. We just want people to know when they need help and when they don't. And that seems pretty reasonable. And then, of course, we'd love to help you if you do need help. And if you do need help, but you think you've got it covered with your tax professional, at least you have more tools that you can go to your tax professional and ask and say, hey, do you know how to handle this? Which is always helpful. The other interesting thing about creating a course is, then you have something to share with the world. So the first time I met Marissa, I thought I was going to make a piano teaching course because I was a piano teacher. And I got discouraged from that because I didn't have any ideas. I feel like there's like 5,000 piano courses out there that are all going to teach the same thing. And I was like, I don't have anything to add to that or to contribute to that. Plus, the thing about me being a piano teacher is I really do individualize, like the kid comes as an individual with their problems, and then I try to figure out how to help them in the moment. And that's not something I can figure out how to teach a course on. So I did not create a piano teaching course. And then while I was taking the course with Marissa, I thought about, I want to teach kids how to invest. And that is something that you can package up in a course. And I got really close. I created this whole thing. I did create a mini course about investing, which is still out there if you can find it. Beginning Investor's Guide to Investing Vocabulary, basically, which just teaches some of the basic investing terms that people don't know and don't realize. But it was supposed to be the intro, the lead into the big course, which never got finished, which was going to take kids from in 2008, buying a portfolio of stocks and watching what happens over the next 12 years over the course of 2 weeks. So I was super excited about this course, and I love the platform, and I've actually got like probably 90% of the course done and completed and loaded in, and I just never got that first video made. I got stuck, like roadblock, and it's hard to make money on something if you can't figure out how to get unstuck, and I really, really got stuck. I got very discouraged. I couldn't figure out how to find any customers, and Marissa teaches you that you want to validate your course before you create it. So you want to find people who are interested in taking it before you spend hours and hours and hours perfecting it, which is what we have done mainly. Well, okay, the little courses that we have created. We've created the course that takes you through how to do your crypto taxes. And that one we knew people needed, and we had someone within a week of the idea asking for it. So we were creating it as that person was consuming it, which was pretty exciting. The other two courses that we've created since then, which is Crypto Taxes 101 and the Crypto Tax Matrix, have been created ahead of time, but they're short little things, and they're not perfect. We're not going for perfection. We're going for, we need to get the info out in the world, and hopefully it helps somebody, which is cool. And where I got stuck on my other course was like, I just had to have it perfect, and I couldn't ever get there. So if that's you, if you are looking for a way to make money for crypto investing, one of the best ways you could do that is to figure out something that you can give back to the world, and figure out a course that you can teach on it, and figure out one or two people who are interested in it, and then create that course for them. And hopefully they will help you. The best part about creating a course on the fly as you're teaching it to somebody is that they have input that they can get back to you and can make your course better, which is something I'd still love to figure out how to do. Making a course better on the fly, that would be terrific. If you have something to teach the world, get out there and do it. What's holding you back? Taking a step with Marissa, at least figuring out what you might teach, thinking about that with a free 5-day challenge, that's like an ideal way to start. So if you're looking for a way to make some money for these crypto investments, because I tell you what, there are some really interesting situations out there I've been seeing. I am involved with an NFT project that is now going to be taken to NASDAQ, so it could get really big, which is pretty exciting. But I'm not going to talk about details on here, so if you want to know more, you gotta come talk to me. And there's another project which I just heard an update on this morning that it's on target to do things in October, which is exciting. I was watching a new advertisement for Crypto Course Apparently, there are these little tiny coins getting pumped up by market maker kind of people and then dumped. And if you can figure out when it's going to happen, you can make a lot of money riding it up and or shorting it on the way down. So it's like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, but the other thing I watched this week, which I did want to tell you about, is there is a really good documentary somebody made on the FTX situation. I watched it yesterday. It was really terrific, explaining all the things that you might not have known about how it started, the guy in charge of FTX and how he got in trouble and all that stuff. SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried. And I hear this week his parents are getting in trouble for using funds from the exchange inappropriately, something like that. But it's interesting because at the end of the documentary, this filmmaker said the same thing is happening in other exchanges. And I'll let you figure out what he said, where he said it. Really interesting, everything that happened. So check that out. Stay safe out there. Be careful where you're putting your money. Go out and earn some money so you can invest in crypto. I think we are getting towards the end of this winter, and now's the time to be buying. When everybody is the most discouraged and everybody thinks it's never going to end, is always the time when you should be backing up the truck, as they say, and buying lots because it's about to take off. And if you're positioned, you're going to be very happy. And if you are watching it happen without you, you're going to be very sad. So, not financial advice, of course. Always make your own decisions. And if you have questions, I love to talk about this stuff. So come message us. Come here to our Facebook Lives. We are here Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern talking about tax tips. We are here on Saturdays talking about strategies and things like that. And we would love to hear from you. So message us, email us at jessica@betavirtualassistants.com. Set up an appointment with us. Do all that stuff. And in the meantime, have a great weekend, and we'll see you later.